Hello and thank you for joining me, whether this is your first time seeing this presentation or follow up to one that I've done previously. Business growth. How engaged is your business and will it survive beyond 2020? A question that I'll be asking throughout these slides today. My name is Marvin Henson and my company is called Cloud Solutions for Business. And I've been helping companies and police forces and corporates for the last 30 years on helping them to grow through the use of various forms of technology. So I'm going to pass some tips, tricks and ideas today and share some industry information which you may find useful as a small business. But first, the context on which the slides are based is the fact that as a small business myself now, I tend to look at social media as a way of enhancing my profile, as I'm sure many of us do. So also for lead generation maybe, or maybe to drive people to our websites as a visitor. We probably spend and invest a lot of money in email marketing campaigns. But for me, as a small business, for the last 5 years, I found that there's a very big then what question. For example, we spend a lot of time, effort and money generating interest in our business, but only to find that quite often people can't get through to us, or that we fend off calls into our business by sending everything to voicemail. So not perhaps the best practice. But let's look at some of the slides and see what information I can give you that may help you to get a view on how engaged you are with your clients. But first, this rather ironic slide. Two small businesses perhaps, one saying to the other, "Can't see you, I'm too busy," and the other one saying, "I've got a great solution that can help you not be so busy." I wonder how many times that happens to ourselves. So, back to the main slides and the main suggestion here, the fact that the disengaged business will actually not survive beyond 2020. Please don't shoot the messenger. That's not my view. This is something that's come out from research done by business gurus around the world. People like Gartner, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Trends and Predictions, contactable, ADC and many more. And these people look at this information, they look at the way we do business and feed that information back to the likes of BT, Microsoft, Apple, many others, that then build their business strategy around that information. So what in fact is their definition of the disengaged business? Well, it's those organisations that are not engaging with their clients, staff, suppliers and partners on a personal level and through the device, time and communications medium of their choice. So rather long-winded, I have to say, and as it may be early in the morning when you're viewing these slides, to make it simple, that basically means that as a small business, we have open to us many channels of communications. So whether it be text and SMS messaging, whether it be telephone, or whether it be web collaboration tools, or our website. But essentially, it generally means that if we start or stop using those channels of preference by people wishing to talk to us, then they will actually stop talking to us full stop. So if they like to use email and we don't allow email, they'll stop using it and they'll stop dealing with us. They'll deal with those companies that do use email. So that's really what this is all about when it comes to looking at the views here. So why is it important? Well, it's important because these are the top 10 challenges that keep business owners awake at night. And you may suffer from one, two, or maybe all of them at any given time. Things like data security and PCI regulation, rearing its head again recently. It might be about reducing your operational costs, or it may be around obtaining faster decisions. So the three I'm most interested in are the first three on that list: winning new customers, customer retention and growth, and differentiating ourselves from our competitors. And they're important because without clients we don't have a business. So if we were to put a label around those three and call it customer experience, then that is what is most important right now. It's probably on the agenda, certainly is on the agenda in fact, for most of the major corporates right now. How can they become easy to do business with and take the business away from the likes of ourselves? So customer experience is vitally important. It's important for winning new business because that very first call to us or communication with us around whichever channel they prefer to use, if it's blocked or we're not responsive and returning back to them with information within a reasonable timescale, they actually won't continue to take it any further with us. Likewise, our existing customers, they may be contacting us for a number of reasons. Might be to do more business, might be a customer complaint, which I'm sure we all want to deal with immediately, should we be unfortunate to get a complaint. And we certainly won't be able to grow the clients if our customer experience to them is not a good one. And finally, differentiating ourselves from our competitors. Well, if we've got a good customer experience and can demonstrate that, that's a really good USP that we can hand to our marketing people who ask that question on a regular basis, I'm sure. So let's look at some of the trends and why is it again important that we consider what we do as far as customer experience is concerned. Well, if we first of all take just two of these trends, our client demographic, which is constantly changing anyway, but has made a marked change in recent years, in the fact that the majority, over 50% now, of business decisions and business influencers are in fact the millennials, the younger generation, those fortunate enough to be born between 1980 and 2000. And they have some real strengths. They're very good and very technically savvy, very good at using the internet to gain information on which to make informed decisions. So that means they're operating very quickly because they're working in a mobile fashion. They run their personal lives across the mobile and they run their businesses across their mobile with access to the internet, which incidentally, as you know, is becoming ever more available at cheaper and cheaper prices for more and more bandwidth. With the likes of 4G on our mobiles, soon to be 5G, VoIP telephony, telephone across the internet, high-speed broadband, wireless, which again in many places is actually free. I dare say, tongue-in-cheek, you could run a business from a Costa coffee shop with free wireless and just the cost of a price of a coffee. And of course, Ethernet prices are coming down as well. Their prices reduced by up to 50% in the last 12 months alone. So it allows us as a business to be much more agile and much more responsive to our clients and doing business in a faster fashion, and allows us, or should allow us, to keep up with the pace at which business is being done. Now, to give you an idea of the mobile workforce and the size of it and how it's growing, is that today there are something like 6 billion, that's right, 6 billion mobile devices in the world, and that's set to grow to around 24 billion by 2020. So it gives you some idea of just how much mobility is going on in the world today and how mobile we need to be agile on which to make faster decisions to complete business quicker. So here's some statistics for you from a recent Vodafone Business and Consumer Research poll in 2015. It's mirrored by others of a similar nature in the last couple of years. So for example, what we know is that 85% of callers hang up and call a competitor rather than leave you a voicemail. So for every one message you get, chances are you've missed 4. That could be business, new business. 68% of callers into your business will call a competitor right after leaving a voicemail message. Yeah, I'm guilty of both of the top personally. If I need to have a supplier, for example, responsive to me, and I have no expectation when I'm going to get a call back, or I reach a message that says, "Hi, welcome to the O2 message centre," doesn't tell me I've reached the right person, then generally speaking, I'll move on and make the next call to a competitor. 90% of callers into your business think that voicemail during business hours equals the fact your business is small, may be unsuccessful, and may represent a risk to doing business with you. So if you consider those 3 statistics alone, you've got 3 barriers to climb, and we haven't even spoken to a client yet. So what are technology companies doing to help? Well, what we do know is that 73% of callers into a business today, will not call a competitor if you answer or your business answers the first time. And 71% of people who call into your business now expect and indeed want to hear an auto attendance system. And for those of you not familiar with auto attendant, that's the thing that gives you, or the caller rather, a message to say, "Hi, welcome to your company. And that's a big tick in the box for customer experience. They know they've reached you as an organisation. And the second thing they now expect to hear, because their call has actually been answered at this point, is press 1 for sales, 2 for technical, 3 for admin, and 4 to speak to somebody. No more than 4 options on an initial menu, as that's bad practice. So just 4 is all that's needed. And that allows them to route their call to exactly who they need to speak to. So that's good practice, and it's a good experience for the client. So what else can I share with you? Well, according to the Office of National Statistics and also Vodafone Business and Government poll recently, shows that £33 billion is the loss of business through the failure for small businesses to answer their phones. That's £33 billion worth of lost business. Well, in actual fact, it's not lost. It just means it's finding its way to those companies that are responsive, that do answer the calls to their clients and can deal with their clients in a swift way. Now, £37 billion is the cost, apparently, of road hold-ups to businesses, according to the ONS. And how they arrive at that figure is quite simply that apparently the national statistic is that it takes an hour to reach our business meetings through travel, and travel again from that business meeting is around about an hour, and a typical business meeting today is an hour. So we're investing, if you think about it, 3 hours of our valuable time getting to and conducting a meeting which may or may not be successful. So what are technology companies helping to do for us? Well, they're providing things like video conferencing, the telephone, things like webinar capability, and of course things like collaboration tools. So I guess the question that we should be asking ourselves before setting foot on the road and going to drive somewhere to have a meeting is, do we actually need to meet them face to face? Do we need to be an eyeball to eyeball meeting? Or perhaps, we could do this on the phone or through collaborative tools. And I know businesses that I've worked with in the past grow their businesses by 500% simply by being much more selective about how they meet their clients. And of course, it's good customer experience. You can touch more clients from your seat in your office using collaborative tools and webinar capability than you could by driving everywhere. So that's what technology companies are doing to help us. So with that in mind, enter unified communications. The term, I would say it's not new, maybe new to SMEs, but unified communications is a collective name for many of these tools brought together under one platform to help us give a much better customer-focused approach to our clients. The objective of which, of course, is to deliver a professional image, a better customer experience, by ensuring a first-time contact resolution when they call us or get in contact with us. It means we can pick that message up, however that might deliver itself or call, and then deal with it straight away. So what exactly is included in unified communications? Well, you've got IP telephony, allowing you to take your calls on not just on your mobile, but you can take your telephone calls on your laptop, on your iPad, on your mobile, on your desk phone, on your PC, any of those devices in fact. There's auto attendant inclusive as well, which we touched on a few moments ago. Voicemail to email, a really productive tool allowing you to bring all of your messages into one place. So you can manage all messages at the same time in your email inbox. And it may be that you don't need to respond to that email and make a call back. It may be you want to forward that voicemail on to perhaps a PA or a virtual assistant and explain to them, please listen to the message and please could you do this, and allocate an activity for them to deal with it. And then you've got things like instant messaging, presence and conferencing, video conferencing, collaboration tools and webinar tools, and finally things like call recording as well, important to those people that advise other organisations and people and private individuals on their finances. As you know, new MiFID rules suggest now that you do need to record calls even from your mobile, which unified communications is able to do. So what does it mean and what does it cost? these kind of tools? Well, if we consider that now customer contact into your business is handled, ticking the box, giving you a professional image to your clients, can deliver a number of benefits which you can see from this slide. Reduced callbacks, centralised voicemail, you can start to use landline numbers for your business rather than a mobile number, showing things like an 0330 number, or if you want to appear to be local, then of course a local number, rather than use mobile. Gives a much better impression. Reduce email, reduce voicemail. Allow presence, see what your work colleagues are doing and whether they're available to take calls or not. And of course things like auto attendant and music on hold come as standard. So these prices start from around £16 a month, and many of them include calls. Might include the first 2,000 minutes of calls on a monthly basis. So that's something you may wish to consider when it comes to improving customer experience. Now, I often get asked, having done this presentation a number of times, as you can imagine, unified communications and VoIP. Yep, so as a technical person, the question I get is, do people actually buy into this? Is anybody buying these solutions? Well, in fact, indeed they are. 2016 saw an upturn of $94 billion spent throughout the world on unified communications platforms. And by the end of 2024, that's expected to grow, according to the likes of Gartner, Forrester, and many of the other business gurus out there, to $194.5 billion. So yes, SMEs are addressing the fact that they need to be much more agile, much more professional, much more responsive, and work in a mobile fashion. So that's mirroring the growth rate in terms of mobile devices out there in the world, and the fact that we're operating much quicker and being more responsive to our clients. So I reached this point at the end of the slides, and thank you very much for listening to me and to looking at these slides. I hope there's something in there that you can take away from these. My name is Marvin Henson. My telephone number is 0330 6600 464. Please feel free to give me a call. If you ring that number, press option 1. That will come through to me. And yes, I do use unified communications, as you would expect. If you wish to visit my website, it's World Wide Web, cloudsolutions4biz.com. Predominantly there is very little, if any, product on there. I'm more interested in about understanding about you, your business, your aspirations, and helping you with the right solution for you. Thank you for listening.